This is part A of the KHOODEELAARTV television channel being broadcast at 08:10 GMT. That is the time, the listed time for the broadcast. We are beginning a few minutes earlier than that listed time, but this is the time 08 hours GMT. And this is the UK time is 09:10 hours UK time, British Standard Time. There is a shortage of superlatives that we could use. Obviously, currently, at today's date, there is a scarcity of suitable superlatives adjectives that factually can be applied to describe the twin evil, Rupert Dirty Digger Murdoch, and the evilness personified, the rapist, the multiple rapist and criminal sex attacker and liar, Russell Brand. Now, The Guardian, which during the years that Alan Rubisher was in post as the editor and then the editor-in-chief of the group, The Guardian perpetrated a series of lies in the context of Tower Hamlets, including shielding the criminal, Lutfur Rahman, and the criminals that sponsored him, and so on. And The Guardian had a London diary or London blogger, the completely idiotic Dave Hill. The Dave Hill perpetrated the cover-up, while everyone that knew the events, the facts of the behavior of the liar Lutfur Rahman in the post of elected mayor at the expense of Tower Hamlets, Dave Hill pretended that this was not happening. As far as Eric the Pickles, who was the Secretary of State in the post now being held by Michael Gove, claimed to have sent commissioners to take over the running of the council. Absolute lies, backup lies. Eric the Pickles had no idea what was going on in Tower Hamlets, and he still doesn't seem to have any idea, although he's out of office, but he's still active in so-called politics. He has no idea what Lutfur Rahman was doing. As far as the Labour Party is concerned in Tower Hamlets, although the lying Keir Starmer conspired to secure the acquittal of Afsana Begum when she was charged and tried at the Snaresborough Crown Court about the housing criminality she actually committed. He did that to save his skin. He didn't do that. That is, Keir Starmer didn't secure the acquittal of Afsana Begum in order to help Afsana Begum. But Starmer conspired to stall reflecting on his central leadership of the so-called Labour Party that he has been politically murdering. Now, today's weekend edition of the Communist Morning Scar has got front page splash based on the alleged latest campaign by Diane Abbott, allegedly determined to challenge, electorally challenge the Labour Party fronted by Keir Starmer. This is a splash, and it's in the Morning Scar. But we call Diane Abbott Dirty Di because she is a habitual liar and she never actually identified with the campaign, original campaign, or campaigns against racism in the Labour Party or racism in the wider United Kingdom. So when it suits her, Dirty Di is quite capable of using the phrase or the term to do with anti racism. But she is a stooge of racists like Ken Livingstone, and she slept with Jeremy Corbyn, who used her as the black trophy, as has been chronicled in the published accounts in the Daily Mail group, where it has been stated that while out canvassing with a group of white comrades, Jeremy Corbyn suddenly remembered that he had forgotten something. So he invited them to his flat or house or whatever. And when they entered his place, it was flat or room, whatever the space was that he invited them into, they found Dirty Di lying in Corbyn's bed. Now, the Daily Mail group repeatedly interpreted that as Jeremy Corbyn's behavior as exhibiting his acquiring of a black girlfriend. Now, it was about the same time when the then married Corbyn married to Christine Chapman. Married to Christine Chapman and sleeping with Diane Dirty Di Abbott. And Christine Chapman has published, as reported extensively by the Daily Mail group, that Dirty Di actually threatened her, threatened the wife of Jeremy Corbyn, and told her to leave town in no uncertain terms. So Dirty Di, when she is painted as whatever they're painting her as in terms of being moral and conscientious and all the rest of it, is the last person that deserves factually to be so painted. When she conveniently married a African black man called Thomas, by whom she acquired the black child, she married him for his sperm. As soon as she knew that she had acquired the sperm and had got pregnant by him, well, pregnant, impregnated by a black person, then there has been no account about any other black person she slept with about the same time. She totally, absolutely forgot about him. She was in absolute and utter denial about Thomas. Now, the Daily Mail group published accounts in the 1990s about Dirty Die's behavior towards the African man Thomas. And there has been no challenge. There has been no legal challenge, and there has been no noticeable political challenge to the Daily Mail's account of Diane Abbott's behavior towards Christian Chapman, towards the man she temporarily married, an African man called Thomas. Once she knew that she had a conception and she would have a black skinned child, she reverted to her routine, being in partnership as social friend. That is the maximum we are able to say, with the likes of the racist Michael Portillo, who co-appeared with her on dozens, if not more, of episodes of the BBC's political slot on Sundays that for years was fronted by Andrew Neil. Nothing that Diane Abbott said in any of those episodes actually amounts to substantial understanding of racism in Britain, let alone substantial evidence of anything she was doing or she was capable of doing to sustainably, consistently oppose racism at any stage. So, therefore, this page one splash by the Morning Star, which reads Labour under fire as Abbott vows to fight. Union leaders and MPs want justice for first black woman MP. Now, what the fuck is that about? We reject totally this tokenistic line, black woman MP, let alone first black woman MP. It depends on what she actually did. If she didn't do anything specifically against racism in a manifest way, sustainable way, then any MP becomes ridiculously relevant. So we don't believe that Dirty Die is against racism. Of course, if she gets any concession, this might be a negotiating kind of line peddled by her with the help of certain unions. If she gets some kind of concession from the Starmer fronted Labour Party, then they will change it. And the fight against racism that has never been fought really in Britain by the Labour Party will remain undone, unfought. She says in the quote, "This is all about much more than me. Really? The issues are Labour Party democracy and the leadership's commitment to fighting racism." Now, that is a linguistic giveaway. The leadership is not committed to fighting racism, you lying, stupid moron. The leadership needs to have commitment, but she doesn't seem to understand the difference. The woman that has passed now, an Indian woman who was part of the Black Media Workers Association that I co-founded in 1980, which benefited Dirty Die Abbott as well, who actually betrayed the Black Media Workers Association trust and got a job with Ken Livingston Livingston's GLC, and she detached herself from the ideals of the campaigning organization that I jointly founded. So that woman is a member of the Black Media Workers Association, an employee. She told me that during one of the events held in West London by the Black Media Workers Association, Dirty Di followed her to the women's toilet and kicked that woman for raising some objections within the group against Dirty Di's behavior. Now, I'm not a fan of that woman, and I wasn't present there, but that is what she told me. Now, having diagnosed Dirty Di Abbott's behavior when she was in the post of a press officer at the GLC, I know that she was completely no good. Whenever I asked for any press release or statement or comment, I went to the GLC press office personally, physically, and when Dirty Di appeared at the counter, she was empty. So the key phrase is union leaders. Those are the ones who put her in the post as the Labour Party's MP candidate in Stoke Newington and Hackney for the first to begin with. And they did that by really forcing then long-standing MP Arnie Roberts. So Dirty Di is completely, absolutely false and fake. We shall continue to update on her latest kind of fakery. Suffice to say that we don't believe a word she says because she's a liar. She's an opportunist, she's shameless, and she's a mental slave and other ways a server of the racist cause and agenda and narratives. Now, back to Michael Wolff. Michael Wolff, the American opportunist biographer, is a kind of comparable with the racist liar Tom Bauer in Britain, who is the official, an unofficial biographer of so many profitable kind of names. Michael Wolff has done the second book on Dirty Digger Murdoch, and it appears to be a coincidence that Murdoch's resignation or Murdoch's elaborate kind of re-description of him or his location within the Murdoch organization as the emeritus leader of the organization is more than clear giveaway that he is not quitting the position of Supremo willingly, that he has been under pressure. As I said yesterday, the actual details of how the coup has been staged against Rupert Murdoch's position will be known sooner than most people appear to think. Now, when Malcolm Turnbull, whom I quoted and mentioned yesterday, describes Rupert Murdoch as having attacked and undermined world democracy, I totally agree with that description of the statement. Amazing, isn't it, that there is no reflection, let alone elaboration of what Turnbull has described as the anti democratic thug, Rupert Murdoch, in any of the British outlets. So let's check the Daily Times today. Ooh, what the Times has to say by way of propagating Dirty Digger Murdoch. Well, there is a piece in the Times on page 2 which is absolutely unbelievable because it's another liar mental slaves, the London mayor Sadiq Khan, who is a mental slave. The heading in the Times says the Khan threatens breakup of the Met, that is the London Metropolitan Police, if the London Metropolitan Police fails to reform. Well, that's a lie. That is an electioneering spin by the liar Sadiq Khan. He has no idea about the police, let alone breaking up. The police doesn't exist. That's the truth. Fucking liar. Evilness. Russell Brand. Look at this. Look at this evil lie by British Gas. British Gas has been investigated for telling customers that old meters may catch fire. Now we take this narrative all the way back to Brick Lane, and the setup lies about fire told by the criminals claiming concern about fire in the back of 164 Brick Lane, which also served as the kitten's house. 164 Brick Lane in the back and 160 Brick Lane. Just referring to this because we have had extensive communications with evidence about those claims, not just by the criminals named, but the criminal gangs that were actually letting down the work that K. Jordan had actually done. So we shall be updating on those. And the fire, the retired fireman called Sir Ken Knight, one of Eric Pickles' commissioners sent apparently to Tower Hamlets in 2014 to sort out the lies of Lutfur Rahman. Ken Knight is a liar And the second in number, second to him, the second in command, let's say, that people sent to Tower Hamlets, has now been brought back to life again by Gove. And Gove has resuscitated that other criminal, professional criminal, to allegedly stage an investigation of the crooks at Birmingham City Council. Anyone watching this will know that what I'm saying, these are things that are not similar to what the British media are saying or will ever say. That's the whole point of this program. And this is part of the essay we call the Baby Angel Geronimo essay. Baby Angel Geronimo is the alpaca who was born 10 years ago in New Zealand and raised by a woman called Leonie Walker. And Baby Angel Geronimo was sadly allowed to leave New Zealand and go to England. And Leonie Walker will never, ever overcome the shock and the sadness and the heartbreak of letting the baby angel Geronimo leave her. As Helen MacDonald, South Gloucestershire, and the mum that baby angel Geronimo joined, has recalled and updated in a comment in a recent newspaper piece. She's still suffering from the trauma and the stress of being harassed and subjected to what felt like torture by the DEFRA criminals. We shall be updating on all aspects of the baby angel Geronimo, and this is just a contextual topical update or note in this edition. Now, there is a picture in the Times of this clueless, dishonest incumbent in the post of Prime Minister of Britain, Rishi Sunak. Now, Rishi Sunak is mentioned in the latest Private Eye. Let's see if we can find the actual piece. So it's a heading in the Private Eye on page 7, which is where the political contents begin. It says Tata to $1 billion. There was more than a hint of desperation in the government's announcement of a 500 million subsidy for the Port Talbot Steelworks, owned by Tata of India. At 40% of the likely cost of a new electric arc furnace, this is a hefty giveaway. Hefty means heavy, substantial, big. As the largest steel maker left in Britain, after decades of neglect of the industry, Tata can drive a hard bargain in its pursuit of a greener, less labor intensive plant. But 3,000 potential job losses aren't the only drawback. As the Steelworkers Union points out, electric arc furnaces cannot make some of the high end steel needed for cars or that needed for other steel product plants nearby. Coming just a few weeks after Rishi Sunak announced another Tata investment in an electric car battery plant, backed with another 500 million pounds of British public support, a shining example of how the United Kingdom is the best place to build cars of the future, said the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Of course, he is completely empty, devoid of any knowledge. Converting so much of UK steel production to the new technology may prove premature. It looks generous to provide £1 billion in subsidies to a corporate group that is Tata India that made £6 billion a year in profits. And nor are Tata's credentials as a long term partner great, given its closure of plants on Teesside in 2009 and sell off of Scunthorpe Works to private equity speculators in 2016. The deal has gone down well in India, however, where Ratan Tata, chairman emeritus of the group, counts Sunak's father in law and Infosys owner Narayana Murthy as a friend. So it's £1 billion of British public money being given to Tata India, which has made profits of £6 billion a year. Now, the private eye piece here that I've read doesn't give the number of years that they are counting, but 6 billion a year, even 1 year, is way too much to ignore while giving £1 billion to the same company as subsidy. Surely there should be not one, but more than one prosecution for corrupting the state and demanding the return of the money, all the money that the British public has been fleeced, robbed of, and given into the pocket of Tata India. Whatever the official anglicized the British name of Tata India's operations may be. And the so called shadow finance or shadow chancellor, this criminal woman called Rachel Reeves, no sound from her about the misuse of the funds, British public funds. Now, the decision to give money to Tata in the way that Rishi Sunak has been doing is not a first for a British government regime. When Sajid Stupid Javid was appointed minister, business secretary, Tata in Talbot in Wales was in the news because of the crisis at that time. And whatever Sajid Javid, stupid Javid didn't cover him in glory. And Tata has not acquitted itself at all. Tata has been a source of big time robbery of public money, taking advantage of the bankruptcy, the political bankruptcy, the ethical bankruptcy, the moral bankruptcy of the main parties, alternatively, in Britain. And none of the Daily Mail, the Murdoch Press, the Daily Telegraph, and most certainly not the Guardian, and not the even Beaverbrook legacy, the Daily Express. None of those titles has raised one question about the robbery, the feast of robberies that Tata India has been allowed to engage in, while the cost of living, rising poverty, and discrimination continue in the United Kingdom, affecting millions of ordinary people, individuals, groups, and families in the United Kingdom. No mention of any of this in the press, not in the Times, most certainly, which is celebrating Rishi Sunak's bankruptcy, moral, political, ethical bankruptcy. Now, the corruption of the British state, the cruelty of the British state, the cruelty of the British judiciary is exposed in the case of this girl, 19-year-old, who has been really effectively murdered by the NHS because she was prevented from receiving alternative treatment in the USA to treat her condition. And the court system imposed a secrecy condition which meant that she could not be named. So she is being let's check the Daily Mail's front page today. Her name is Shudiksha Thirumalesh. This is the teenager, 19-year-old, who is featured on the front page of the Daily Mail today. Let's check the actual copy on the Daily Mail. Today, Saturday, 23rd of September 2023. So they are saying that She was inspiring. Their heading on the front page of today's Daily Mail, with a picture of a smiling Sudiksha, they said the exclusive interview and pictures revealed to the world at last the inspiring 19-year-old condemned to die in secret. Now, this is the woman, obviously, she is of Indian origin. The name is Sanskrit based, Shudiksha. One meaning could be to do with good, well education, learning, instruction. And she is revealed in detail on the inside pages of the Daily Mail. Let's see what pages. So they've got YouTube details on Shudiksha on the Daily Mail website, which is youtube.com/Daily Mail. So that can be checked later. And they say in a highlight, she said she wanted to die trying to live. This is the kind of heartbreak that the criminals who blocked her details to be made public at the time she was alive, they commit. And this is the piece that is exclusive, based on exclusive interview by Inderdeep Bains. Now, Bains seems to be connected with an Ilford, Essex based Bains, who was a corrupt, pro racist Bains who was given platform after platform by the racist anti Muslim British media. That is the historic connection, but let's look at this heartbreaking story that the Daily Mail is carrying. There is a highlight there. Even in her final hours, Sudiksha was aware of everything around her. Now, it cannot be read without serious emotional outburst. So I'm not going to read while I'm broadcasting. Now, back to the Dirty Digger Murdoch and the piece by Alison Boshoff and Richard Key. They've done a extended piece headed "The Murdoch struggle for succession isn't over," and it's sister Elizabeth who holds the key. And there is a frightening article in the Daily Mail editorial page under Saturday Essay, and it says the next pandemic is already coming and it could kill millions more than COVID. We need to prepare for it now. A chilling warning from the woman who led Britain's world beating vaccine response. So it's the and there is a piece by congenital liar Boris Johnson. Remember, he has been given a platform on Saturdays by the Daily Mail. So he's saying that why we would be so utterly spineless as to give away the military base that plays such a vital role in our Atlantic alliance with America. Now, there is a rare piece here by Amanda Platel on Platel's People page about the evilness called Russell Brand. She's saying, will this clip from Brand's own show be what finally sinks him? I'll come back to the phrase finally sinks him. Why should it be even raised? Why should he not be indicted, arrested, prosecutors charged, and tried now? Of course, Ed Miliband is a complete, absolute idiot. And Russell Brand is an evilness. Evilness. Shit. The only other woman there is raising alarm against a capitulation to the evilness brand is Kirsty Allsop. She wondered, am I the only one who thinks Russell Brand's reputation may suggest he doesn't have the attitude to him, and I might hope my sons will have? Following our live blog here, Russell Brand's jokes about raping a woman emerge amid allegations of sexual assault and claims that he sent a BBC car to pick up teenage girl from secondary school. Late British comedian Sean Locke's reason for hating Russell Brand has today resurfaced. Maverick comic Brand came under fire this weekend after being accused of sexual assault between 2006 and 2013. The 48-year-old got him to the Greek star denies any wrongdoing. Previously relationships and previous relationships were consensual. A clip on 8 out of 10 cats in 2014 resurfaced. Let's check if we can get rid of this video there. Okay. A clip on 8 out of 10 cats in 2014 resurfaced following the alleged sex abuse scandal facing Brand, showing Locke joking about the fellow comic on Channel 4 show. Locke, who died from cancer on August 2021, aged 58, said he feared his daughters bringing someone like Brand home with them. Evilness. Probably the reason I hate him so much is because I'm a dad and I've got this fear that one day my daughters will bring something like that home. He added as the crowd roared with laughter, and he will come in and go, "Oh, oh, such pleasure to be in your charming abode." Locke also had a jab at Brand's non fiction book, Revolution, which was on sale at the time, telling audiences, in fact, if Brand's book is called Revolution, then he shouldn't be out there trying to sell it. He should be encouraging people to steal it. Locke's resurfaced clip went viral after appearing on social media again this week after Brand was accused of rape, sexual assault, and emotional abuse. One Twitter user shared the viral video and tweeted, "The genius that was Sean Locke," whilst another person said, "The late, great legend Sean Locke, we miss you every single day. Takedown of Russell Brand is the greatest character assassination I have ever seen." It's not the first time that Brand aired his concerns about. Oh, it's not the first time that Sean Locke aired his concerns about Brand. In 2008, the stand up said the get him to the Greek star was setting a bad example for other young comedians. Locke claimed Brand's wild lifestyle, in which Brand later admitted to being a sex and drug addict, were giving the wrong signals for aspiring entertainers. Whenever a young comic asks me for advice, I only have two things to say. One is to try and do what you think is genuinely funny, and the other is just do loads of gigs. Locke told Scottish daily The Scotsman in 2008. Russell is a funny bloke and a talented man, but I think he is a bad example to young comics in that to try to achieve success, you have to disembowel yourself for public consumption, with every single detail of your life being sold and bartered for attention. The situation comes as a Me Too moment in the UK comedy erupted today in the midst of allegations against Russell Brand, as five more comics were named as potential predators. They are among the so called blacklist drawn up by female comedians and shared on WhatsApp in an effort to keep them safe from being targeted. Allegations made against them vary from stalking up to violence against women and sexually preying upon them. Mail Online have not named them because it has not been yet possible to verify the claims. Russell Brand, who denies any illegality, was this weekend accused of rape and sexual assault between 2006 and 2013. Former colleagues who had worked with him have also made lurid claims about his behavior, including acting as his pimps to pass messages to attractive audience members. But while details of the allegations may have come as a shock to many of his fans within the industry, and particularly female comics, they not have been entirely unexpected. In fact, Brand's name is chillingly just one of many of the alleged blacklists shared by women working in comedy, warning each other about possible sexual predators. Mail Online can disclose at least five more comedians have been named in the conversations. So Catherine Ryan claims she confronted the TB's sexual predator. So let's hear if you can hear what she's saying. So we're not going into the next video because that is a video containing Donald Trump. So what is happening in the general comments that are published in the United Kingdom this weekend, and let's say in the last few days, including, let's name two. One, the Julie Burchill one in the Daily Mail yesterday. Now, Julie Burchill, those who don't know her, Julie Burchill actually was a young, campaigning, outspoken kind of columnist that was launched by the Sunday Times when she was in her teens or she was in her early 20s. But as things kind of progressed or moved, Julie Burchill has become quite notorious as a racist and as a right winger. And what is significant and worrying about the Daily Mail piece that has been edited, obviously by whoever has edited it, given the, I'll come to what I was starting to say in a minute. I'm looking for the Daily Mail piece that Julie Burchill has published yesterday. She describes herself in her Twitter profile as writer, fighter, fun-loving red RAD. That is supposed to mean radical feminist, yeah? And then she says she's a Christian, she's a Zionist. That is frightening, isn't it? She's a Zionist. And there is an apology dated the 16th of March 2021 to this woman who claims to be a Muslim, which is completely questionable itself, otherwise known as Ash Sarkar. Now, this is the introduction to this apology that Julie Barchel has published to Ash Sarkar. On 13th of December 2020, I made defamatory statements about Ayo Caesar, which I sincerely regret and retract and have undertaken not to repeat. I have agreed to pay substantial damages to Ash Sarkar, an illegal course. Here is my full and wholehearted apology. Please retweet. So that's something that I'm not going to retweet because the piece that I'm going to retweet that in will be different. This one is about her piece in the Daily Mail, and let's check if we can find the Daily Mail piece that she has written, and I shall read the particular bit that I want to draw attention to. Okay, this is the heading to the piece in the Daily Mail yesterday that Julie Barchel has the Julie Barchel byline. It says, how ironic that the BBC calls itself auntie when it so often behaves more like a dirty uncle whose little secret no one needs to know. Now, this is online edition which was updated at 23:11 British Standard Time on the 21st of September 2023. So it was 2 days ago and it was published in the print version of the Daily Mail yesterday, a day ago. So I'll come to that by locating what I'm looking for. I'm looking for only one sentence or one paragraph at most. That's what I'll focus on. And I'll do that as the core of her kind of piece. And I'll show that the entire British media, under the pretense of being shocked by this evilness, Russell Brand is actually still complicit with him. She has stolen a comment from Rifkin's son, Hugo Rifkind, about the taxi driver. This goes on a lot. Now, this is the bit that I think gives away the game. This is not the first time it's happened. Far from being an exception, Alice, who was so young that Brand called her the child, suggests the horrible case is part of a disturbing pattern. Now, notice the word pattern. By using the word pattern, Julie Burchill is making it general and reducing the gravity of the evilness of Russell Brand's crimes. And then she even goes on. In fact, it is not the first time a sex scandal featuring a top media talent has involved the clammy hand of our state broadcaster, the BBC, where it shouldn't be. For years, it, that is the BBC, turned a blind eye to, or at best failed to stop, the appalling treatment of women by its household names. As Jimmy Savile has shown, the BBC has nurtured and protected stars despite claims of abuse and misogyny. Many of these creeps didn't even pick on adult women. BBC employees such as Rolf Harris, Stuart Hall, Radio One's Mark Page, and Savile all abused children. They make Brand look almost chivalrous by comparison. There it is. Julie Burchill has given herself away and praised Russell Brand, the evil one, as chivalrous by comparison with the others. Fuck Julie Burchill. She is no fucking radical. Fuck her. So, what is happening is that the likes of Julie Burchill are looking for any excuse to make Russell Brand's evilness come across as being less monstrous and vile than they are. As I've said, the Daily Mail also quoted the message that Jemima Goldsmith left on Russell Brand's birthday, praising him, congratulating him as the wonderful revolutionary. Now, as I said, when Russell Brand appeared on the television for the first time, and I actually physically noted his appearance on the platform in 2005 or 2006, there was nothing about his appearance that was acceptable. Everything about his appearance was vile, foul, criminal, creepy, corrupt, revolting. So that was 17, 18 years ago. that I noticed the criminal the first time, and I instantly, on all these signs, concluded that he was evil. But at the same time, the question sprang to mind immediately as I thought that he was evil. I said, now, how is it that this evilness is being given this huge platform by mainstream television, Channel 4? I wanted to know why I was the only one that was noticing this and raising this question. Now, that was 17, 18 years ago. Why has it taken 17, 18 years? And as they claim, the Sunday Times and the Dispatches team, they have been investigating him for several years. If they have been investigating him for several years, how is it that they are still not calling for his indictment? Because the rape that he committed at his home in Los Angeles, the rape that has been actually discussed at length, including the fact that the victim of the rape actually visited the University of California Medical Center on the same day, and they've seen the records, medical records. How is that something that needs to be further verified before he is indicted and is prosecuted, that he is arrested? We shall be talking more about Russell Brand, the Evil One, and other items. We haven't started in this edition talking about Rupert Murdoch, and we shall be doing that in later editions. Ending this one at 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 0909 hours GMT on Saturday.